Not once has anyone asked us why it is that individuals choose to incarnate in familiar environments. We speak to individuals of multiple lifetimes, of past, present, and future lifetimes. And each one individuals assume is a lifetime spent on planet Earth. Each one spent in a familiar environment. But we are not asked if that is the totality of their lifetimes. It is assumed that it is. And oftentimes, as some would say, quote, phrases heard in one of your movies not that long ago. Assumption is the mother of all ... unquote. Fill in the blanks. The key to recognize that the need to assume is based on the need to limit the perception of reality into small chunks, such that it can be understood, accepted, and in part appreciated. And so, to the mind, to the self, to the ego personality, reality becomes a manageable perspective, a manageable concept, something that will not overwhelm, but that can be even controlled. For if it is manageable, it can be controlled. But when the ego personality is faced with the awareness of continuity and constancy in existence, what most individuals choose to do is to accept the concept and dismiss it entirely, in order to not gain an appreciation of constancy and continuousness in existence, in order to maintain reality in manageable perspectives, such that then they can give themselves the opportunity to maintain control over their perspective of reality. Think of it this way. You are going to work. It is 8:30 on a Thursday morning. You take the bus and then the subway to get into work. Now, you perceive yourself in control of your reality. You take the bus, your choice. You sit, your choice. You stand, your choice. You take the subway, your choice. You know your surroundings, you know your environment. But as long as you know that you are in control of your reality, you are comfortable. You are secure. You feel good about yourself. And then, for no apparent logical reason, for absolutely no basis of your reality, someone on the subway pulls the gun and shoots you dead. Now, if you maintained an awareness that reality was so fickle as to not be in control, not be able to be controlled by you, then you would create a fear within yourself so great that you would never step out of your house. Which is why agoraphobics exists. They have created a fear so great within themselves that they refuse to leave an environment in which they are not in control, or in which they are in control, to move into an environment in which they are not in control. And the fear mounts. Which is why, to you, reality can only be perceived in acceptable chunks, in acceptable perspectives, parcels, in order to then give you a perspective of control over the reality that you exist in. But now, move into a state of command, as we suggested in the Control versus Command workshop series. Move into a state of command. And what begins to occur is that you move yourself from a perspective of reality in which you are in control to a broader, more expansive perspective of reality in which you are not in control. So what happens is, when you perceive reality, instead of perceiving them in the small chunks that you can control, you expand first the size of your chunks, and eventually leading you to a perception of all of reality at once. Because all of reality is not in control. You cannot control all of reality. Even God, Goddess, the all that is, does not control reality. Some would say God controls everything. And we would say poppycock. God, Goddess, the all that is, controls nothing. Commands, yes, but does not control. Which is why, in an existence, a child can die of leukemia. A mother can be butchered in South Africa, have her head cut off, her child cut out of her belly. Which is why 6 million Jewish people can be killed over a short period of time. Which is why you can cross the street and get hit by a truck. Which is why someone can cheat you out of your fortune. Which is why 6 children can die in a car accident and go back. God, Goddess, the all that is, does not control reality, but does command it. And in commanding it, allows reality to flow as it flows. You too can command reality. You too can do this. You can, through choice, allow yourselves the opportunity to observe the constancy and continuousness of reality, of existence. And as a result, command yourself and command existence in the same way. Now, some would say, how can God, Goddess, the all that is, be in command and I be in command as well? Doesn't that then lead to a conflict? And we would suggest, why would you think so? This is not an army where only one general can make the decisions. God, Goddess, the all that is, does not reside at the top of a hierarchy whereby all of existence moves to the oneness with God, Goddess, the all that is, and then everything ends.